going to do is we're going to do a little exit polling, but mainly what we're going to try to figure out is if people are worried about election fraud or voter fraud, if they're worried about the integrity of this election.
I'm the election deputy in here.
Yes, how you doing? Owen Schroyer from Infowars.com.
Max Fisher. You're probably okay as long as you don't discuss candidates, and particularly by name, which that lady did.
But if we're just doing exit polling, though, as long as I don't say anything?
Electioneering as long as you're out in the way.
So they can't say the name either?
They're really not supposed to, because somebody standing here could think they were electioneering.
If I'm saying, if we didn't even bring up any of the candidates and we were just asking,
who did you vote for?
Yeah, no names, and we just said, do you trust the electric voting machines? And that was it. I think that would be okay, though.
Why would you think they didn't trust the machines?
Well, there's a lot of people.
Well, that's why we're out here. Yeah, there's all the reports going on. They just ran tests on the machines.
So you're interested in all kinds of rumors and stuff. Why don't y'all call out to the election office and get permission and then come here if you want?
But what if you saw programs who go and they run the same process that the electronic voting machines do, and then they show how the results can be switched or fixed using decimals and fractions? Would you maybe lose trust then?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what we've just discovered.
Yeah, that seems like it's a thing that's happening right now.
So don't you think it's important, no matter what side you're on, whether you like Hillary or Donald, that we should all be looking at the electronic voting machines? And if we have doubts in the integrity, perhaps maybe going back to paper ballots?
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't mind taking the time.
If that's what we have to do to get our results correct, it's probably worth it, don't you think?
Absolutely, and I think it should be fair for everybody, no matter who you're voting for.
Hi, Mr. Ingram. Okay. You want to talk to us? You don't want to talk to us at all? People are concerned the election's going to be rigged. I guess they're really going to be concerned when they see you turn your back on us. Yeah. Well, can I talk to him? Will anybody here talk to us? Or do you want to rig this? Why are you cutting off all these audit trails? Why are you cutting down the paper audit trails? Well, there you go. That should tell you something. People are concerned about elections being rigged. You've got the director of elections here at the Secretary of State office that won't talk to us. Takes one look at the press and turns around and walks off.
We would really prefer you not run down our system. People don't really trust anything anymore.
I'm just asking a question. It's not my report.
Oh, I know, but when you ask it in a certain way, you actually influence the person.
Well, I hope I would influence them to do some research.
They won't. But you do realize that one of the candidates is the one who's calling into question whether these things work or not, which makes it a political statement.
No, that's not true.
Have you talked with the people who made these things? Have you talked with the people out there who program them? I was on ballot control one time. They call us out there and they make sure that those machines are 100% accurate. We worked.
Well, would you want to do an interview with us then?
No.
For Hart or what company?
I prefer
Diebold or
Smartmatic?
Hart's the one that does these. Their name used to be something different, but it's Hart now, Hart Graphics. And it's the one used in Dallas and Houston and El Paso, I think it is. I'm just saying, it's such a complicated thing to talk about it being fixed is ridiculous.
I'd have to disagree, though.
Keep playing around. Yeah, you disagree.
But I'm not doing anything illegal.
We're not trying to play around. We went to the Capitol office.
I've worked on it for 20 years, okay?
But to sit here and say it's absurd, I mean, that's absurd.
You're absurd. Sorry.
You've got dead people voting and illegal people voting.
Move beyond my marker.
All right, we will.
I'll call a constable.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we just did some exit polling here, and we had to deal with an election official. Actually, we had to deal with him twice. The first time he asked us to move, even though we weren't breaking the law originally, he still had us move. We obliged. We wanted to continue doing our interviews. Then he came and harassed us again, said we weren't outside of the 100 feet, even though it was his marker that we were obeying. He said we had to go even further. And then when we tried to talk to him, he didn't seem to like us very much. He said we were non-existent. InfoWars doesn't exist because he's never heard of it. Know that there are hundreds of thousands of people that are registered to vote in multiple states. And now most recently we have reports about how they actually rig the voting machines. We've got them, folks. We've caught them. I'm just out here asking people what they think. I'm seeing if anybody's engaged, if anybody's awake. And what do? We get election officials that come out here and try to intimidate us from asking these questions. It doesn't matter how long you've been an election official. We have the evidence. We don't trust the results. And we're going to keep a close eye on this. And it's not absurd at all. But he has threatened to call the authorities, call the constable, says we're breaking the law, even though we've done nothing of the sort, folks. I've done no electioneering here at all. But he threatened to call the authorities. He's been bothering us, so I'm not surprised. These are the kind of election officials that we deal with in Texas.